In this MMS Tech Byte, I'll be going over the Daily Attendance Bulletin. The setup for this report is available in both MMS Generations and the Staff Portal, but in this Tech Byte, we'll be focusing on setting up the report in the Staff Portal. As you can see, I'm at the login for my Staff Portal, and we'll log in. When you get into the Staff Portal, you're going to go to Attendance. You're going to go over to the third column with Reports, and you're going to go to Daily Attendance Bulletin. The purpose of the Daily Attendance Bulletin is to allow the teachers to generate a report that will show them the students that will be out today in their classes. We do give you an option of a default bulletin, and if you are not familiar with the attendance bulletin, I strongly recommend that you use the default bulletin, and then it gives you a nice starting place where you can customize it to your own needs. I do want to make sure that I am in the right school. I want to be working in my high school, not the middle school. And now all I have to do is click on the Use Default MMS Bulletin. If you were to click on the question mark, it gives you a description of what the default bulletin is, and it actually will pop up a sample report for you. Now, the default bulletin defaults to the current date, and it will select all of your attendance codes with the exception of the present code if you have that code in your school. And these are all the daily attendance codes. So I am going to remove some of these codes here. While I was deselecting, I don't have to hold down my control key. I can just click on the boxes to add or remove any attendance code, so that's really nice. I have the option of entering in a report title. And I also have the ability to enter in a note that will print at the bottom of the bulletin. Now, this is an optional part, and I'll just type in something. We'll see where it is. There we go. Now we're going to set up our bulletin. Now this is all the information that we want to pull in for our students, so we are limited to biographical, contact information, as well as attendance information. And by using these default bulletin, we already have some fields selected for us. We default to the larger font and to a one-column report, and because of that, we're allowed up to 90 characters to print across the row, and we currently have 85 characters selected with 5 characters remaining. So adding or removing fields from this setup is really quite easy. You can see all the fields that MMS has already selected for us, and we have a really nice clear view of it in this right-hand column. I can see the student name, and the 22 there indicates the number of characters. That is for the last name, first name, and middle initial. I can see the attendance code of 3 characters, time in, time out, consecutive absences, cumulative absences, age of student, grade level, and homeroom. I'm going to actually leave those set where they are, and we're going to leave it with the 10-point font. And so let's take a quick look at how that report looks set up. And I'm going to click Print. Then we'll come back in and we'll remove some information, and I'll show you how we can update that list. And here's our report. I can see the student name. There's the attendance code that they received today. I have my time in, my time out, consecutive absences, cumulative absences, the age of the student, the grade level, and the homeroom. Now, there's some information here that I really don't think is very pertinent for the teacher, so I'm going to go back to my setup, and I'm going to remove some fields. And this is what you would do if you selected a field and moved it over to this list and then you changed your mind. So the time in, time out, I don't want. Consecutive absences, I think I'll delete cumulative. And then age of student, I don't want. And what else? There's still some fields here that I can remove. Grade level, I'm going to keep. And homeroom, I think I'm going to remove. Now to update this list, all I have to do is click on the arrow to move the selected fields over. So every time I click on that button, it's going to take the fields that I have selected on the left and move them over to the right. So I can see here I have a now reduced list. I can see I have a total of 44 characters selected with 46 remaining. I can change my report to the font size of an 8-point font if I choose. I think I'm going to show you what it looks like with the 2-column report though. So when I change to my 2-column report, I can see now that my total number of characters allowed went down to 45. Okay, so I still need to remove 2 characters. Well, if I go to an 8-point font though, I should be all set. There we go. So changing to an 8-point font, I went from 45 to 56 characters, and I now have 9 remaining, so I have enough room. So let's print that. And here's my report. I can see I have 2 columns. It's the same students that showed up before, displaying less information now. So I have my student name, I have the code, I have the consecutive absences still being displayed, and the grade level. And what I didn't show you the first time we generated the report is that it will give you some totals for this particular date. It will give you the total number of students. It will give you the percent of students that are present. So we have 97.6% attendance, and it gives you a breakdown for the number of excused absences, unexcused, and total absences, as well as tardies and dismissals. Now, so let's go through how to save our settings, because we're going to save these settings for the teacher portal. So I just clicked on my Save Settings button. Going to add an item. And when I add a setting, I like to be descriptive as to what it is. So I'm going to change from Settings 1 to Teacher Portal. I can lock the settings if I want. Now, when I click Save, all that is saving is the setting name. And now with the Teacher Portal setting highlighted, I'm going to click on Save Settings, and that's going to save the actual settings to that new name. There we go. My settings have been saved, and I will close. Now, to be able to associate this to the Teacher Portal, there's one more step I need to take, and that is found in the Staff Portal under Manage, Configuration Jobs, and Configure Attendance. Now we do have 3 Tech Bytes that cover these 3 tabs. I'm just going to focus on the Bulletin for Teachers, and if I click on the drop-down list, I now see my new setting that I saved for Teacher Portal. So I'm going to select that, going to click on Save, OK, and now I'm going to log into my Teacher Portal. And if I go under Attendance, View, Daily Attendance Bulletin, I have no options here for setup. That setup has all been done in the Staff Portal. I also don't have the option of a student range. What I am going to get is all of the students that would normally show up on this attendance bulletin, and they are not specific to just students that this teacher is responsible for. And And there we go. Again, here's the report. We have the attendance code, the consecutive absences, the grade level, and then the summary information. So by making this a 2-column report with just the information that I think the teachers will want to see, it enables us to print this all on one page. And that is the Daily Attendance Bulletin.